Thank you very much for that intro. So I'm Lucia from We Are PEAC. I'm starting to think it's not by chance that I'm coming right after Tom, because my background is in entertainment. I have storytelling running through my veins. It's in my DNA. I spent 20 years working with entertainment companies around the world. So I'm here to tell you a few stories today and hopefully get you to experience some things. The first one being a personal one, and one that might challenge what we think about confidence. So during my time in entertainment, I got to share the red carpet with Hollywood actors, to be in the room with decision makers, high-profile directors, producers, giving talks in front of hundreds of people. And the one thing that people seemed to come to me about was how confident I look on stage, how I was able to share these stories and get the people along the journey with me. Only I wasn't. I still am not. The first time I jumped on a stage, the only thing I wanted to do was come off it. But I'm going to let you into a secret, which is the reason why I'm here with you guys today. I learned to be confident. And here's the thing, people think that we are born with confidence or we are not. But actually confidence is a set of skills and strengths that we can develop, that we can learn, that we can build on in order to become more resilient. It's almost as if you're working on building a brick wall, a confidence wall, brick by brick. So that's what I did, slowly. And you can do that applying what we call the 4 P's, which we're going to explore today. So the first one is presence, patience, practice, persistence. You see, there's a term in positive psychology called learned helplessness, which means that we can learn to teach ourselves to think that we are not good enough, that we don't have what it takes to make it. Well, the opposite is true with confidence. We can learn to tell ourselves a different story, one that says that we're good enough and that we've got what it takes to make it happen. So let's begin with the first P, presence. Presence is awareness, and awareness happens in our body. Now, when I said that I jumped on stage and I wanted to come off it, I knew this because my body was telling me. I started feeling some things that told me something was not quite right. So I want you guys to imagine when that has happened to you. Can you think of a time where you felt threatened, where your body was telling you something is not quite right here? Chances are, I'm going to guess, because I've been doing this for a while, there was something along the lines of palms sweaty, butterflies in your stomach, heart pouncing, head pouncing, or you could have gone the other way and actually felt nothing. You felt flat. Those are very common ways in which our nervous system reacts. And that's what happens in our body. It's a sort of alarm system that fires up and tells your nervous system something is not quite right. Here's the thing. We tend to think that by forecasting, by forward planning what's going to happen, we're going to be okay. That's what your brain does. It looks for the worst case scenario because it wants to keep you safe. It wants to keep you in survival. But the truth is that we feel the safest in the right here and the right now. That's why being present is so important. Nothing happens here. Think of your brains almost like an orchestra. The thumb here is the emotional part of your brain. It's the one that fires the alarm bell. It's the one that runs with the emotion, takes over. Now, when your system is engaged, is aligned, this part of your brain, the logical part, will take over. This is the one that does the thinking. This is the one that problem solves, which you can guess, phew, when the alarm goes off, it goes offline. Hence why we start feeling all these things in our body, or we feel nothing in our bodies. Well, there's a few things that we can do to help us regain control of our system again. So if you're finding yourselves in the group that feels all these things in your body, what your nervous system needs is calming down. We can do this in different ways. One of them is, for example, we can tap onto our 5 senses. You can start by noticing the things that you can see, that you can hear, that you can smell, that you can taste, that you can touch. We can also do it by a simple technique called the ABC. So the first one is A, being aware. What is happening in my body? What am I noticing and what am I feeling it? That's the only thing that is required. be breathing. We're going to go through this technique together in a minute, but it's called the 4-7-8. And what this does is calm our nervous system right down. And what it means is taking a deep breath for 4, we're going to hold it for 7, and we let it out on 8. So let's do it together. Let's take a deep breath in 4, 2, 3, 4. Hold it for 7, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And we let it out on 8. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. From this place of calmness, we can move on to the next one, the C. The C is choice, and we can choose to tell ourselves a different story, think a different thought. Now, if you were finding yourselves in the part of the room where you feel nothing, you feel flat, almost like disengagement, brain fog, also very normal, what our system needs in this place is to wake up. And for waking up, there's nothing better like movement. Some of you may want to play the song that you love and dancing out at home, running on the spoon, jumping jacks, whatever. It doesn't take much, it's just a few seconds of movement, but that will wake our system up. So I want you guys to stand up, please. Now, through copyright, I am not going to play a song for you. I'm going to sing it. How lucky are you? So apologies for that. So move as nobody's watching. You're alone in the room. Try this out with me. Here we go. Ta-na-na, 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 ta-na-na-na-na, ta-na-na-na-na. Great job. Sit down. Now, probably, apart from feeling out of breath, hopefully you felt the difference between the breathing technique and you felt that you were feeling a bit calmer. Hopefully you feel a bit more energized after doing the movement. Look out for those signals because that's actually how our system starts being become online again, starts being aligned again. And from this place, we can actually move to the next P, which is patience. Now, if you remember I said we can think a different thought. And here comes another story. Your brain cannot tell the difference between something you're seeing, I'm seeing this ball here, and something that you're vividly imagining. So I want you to experience this with me. If you can please close your eyes. What I want you to do is think of a lemon. I want you to grab that lemon, get a knife, cut that lemon in half. Even you can notice, maybe, the juice of that lemon coming out, overspilling into your fingertips. I want you to get that lemon, get it close to your face, smell it, maybe squirt a couple of drops, taste it in your mouth, and I want you to open your eyes. Did any of you have a lemon? No. And yet I saw some faces. That's the power of our thoughts. This is the power that we've got. Because you were focusing on a lemon, you found a lemon. And what you focus on, you'll find. The same is true with the stories that we say, with our voices. You can tell yourselves, I'm not good enough. My voice doesn't really matter. Why do I want to share it? Well, if that's the case, if this is the voice that has happened, it can be because we've come detached from the very reason why we thought our voices needed to be heard in the first place. In other words, the reason why you decided to become an entrepreneur, the reason why you wanted to offer your product or your service. So what we need to do is zoom out, is gain perspective, and reconnect with the reason why we wanted to do that. So I want you to experience it as well. If you can close your eyes again. Only this time, I'm going to ask you to picture yourselves, say 80, 85 years old. You're sat on that rocking chair. And I want you to think about, what is that rocking chair? Maybe you sat in a Porsche. Maybe you sat in the forest, by the beach. Are you alone? Are you with somebody else? And when you look back at that life that you lived, what can you see? What can you experience? What does that life look like? What are the moments that you've been through? And now if you open your eyes, if you're anything like the people we work with, chances are those memories, that trip down memory lane, calls back something like love, laughter, moments shared with the people that you care about, perhaps a couple of things that you're proud of. And that's the connection I want you to go back to today as you leave the room. That's the experience I want you to recall as you're about to set the next meeting request or engage in the next conversation. Is that meeting, is that conversation going to get me closer to experience that rocking chair moment? What steps do you need to take in order to experience that rocking chair moment? Who do you need to become in order to experience that rocking chair moment? And that gets me onto the next P, which is practice. You see, Jim Quick said, face it till you make it, which I very much prefer versus fake it till you make it. Because it's not a question of becoming someone you're not. It is about facing who you are, understanding who you are, and tapping on those good bits about you to build that confidence wall until you can become the person that you want to be. Now, our brain does like novelty, but doesn't like change, which kind of doesn't go well with becoming somebody else, right? So what our brain wants is to keep us on the survival zone, in the comfort zone. The comfort zone is good. It's cozy. We feel okay here. We know what we're doing. We might feel a bit of pain. We might feel a bit of suffering, but it's all right. It's a known pain. It is a known suffering. We can do this. If only it was that easy. Human beings are not designed to feel just okay, to feel bored and stuck. We are designed to be driven by purpose, by meaning. And these might take some of us to want to take perhaps way too many steps and perhaps way too fast. And that gets us into what we call the panic zone, where overwhelm, anxiety, stress will kick in, where a nervous sensory of change is going to override our brain. And somewhere in between is what we call the stretch zone. And this is where growth happens. This is where thrive can happen. Sure enough, we feel a bit challenged here, but it is a good challenge. It is one that gets us excited. It is one where we feel, oh, okay, I can take this step. I can practice to start becoming the person I want to be. This is where we start developing. This is where our confidence starts to show up. And this is the thing, we can work with our brain. Our brain is malleable. We can create new neural pathways that are going to help us rewire that thinking. Think about it as a snow path, right? So ahead of us is a well-trodden path. What our brain is going to do is want us to take that path because it wants to keep us safe. And sure enough, that's easy, right? There's proof. People have walked that before. That's okay. Our brain is not going to want us to step aside and start walking little by little towards that finishing line. The thing that we don't recognize is that even though we take that well-trodden path, it can be a slippery slope and get us back down as quick as it got us up. Whereas if we decide to take that step aside, if we decide to build that confidence little by little, not running, remember about practicing, if we do so, we can get to the finishing line the same way, but in a safer way. And one where we look back, we can become far prouder. The pride kicks in, we feel accomplished, and we can notice how far we've come. Which gets us to the last four, the persistence. And this is what we did with the path, right? We took little steps, we showed up. Persistence is about remembering who we are. It is about knowing that we've got what it takes and show up in the arena. Now, some of you will say, that sounds great, Lucia, but I'm exhausted. I can't even take another step. How on earth am I going to carry on going? Well, there's another story. I want you guys to think a pot of gold. And to get to the pot of gold, you've got to dig. Dig, 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 dig. Are you exhausted? Dig, 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 dig. Carry on. Now, here's the plot twist. I'm telling you that you're going to get to that pot of gold. It's there, guaranteed 100%. Will you guys carry on digging? Because it's guaranteed it's there. Well, that pot of gold is your strengths, is your skills. And those are the tools that are going to help you carry on digging when you have no breath. Character strengths is a term that Martin Seligman, the father of psychology, defined, and they see that there's 24 of them. Great news, we all have them. You all have 24 character strengths. The difference is, how do they show up? Which are the ones that show at the top? Those are your signature character strengths. There is a link that you can take, it's free. Ping me an email, I'll send you the link, you can do it. And those top 5 character strengths is what makes it. In fact, research shows that the most successful people are the ones that build on those signature character strengths. The ones that build that block, that confidence wall, based on that. Think about it. Think in a time that you guys did something good, that you were playing on something that you do naturally good. How did it feel? Didn't that make you feel great? Weren't you sitting there thinking, yeah, I can do this, look how great it is. Didn't that give you the confidence and the resilience to carry on taking those steps? Hell yeah, it did. And that's what your voice is. That's what makes you unique. That's the difference. Because the thing is, everybody here in the room is different. You're not going to do the same thing as he's going to do. You're not going to do the same thing as she's going to do. And that's why finding your voice matter. That's why sharing your stories matter. That's why building up on that confidence matter. Because your stories need to be heard. Your voice needs to be heard. And finding the confidence to make it happen becomes vital. So please, guys, find your voices, share your stories, and we'll be listening. Thank you very much.